This conference will now be recorded.
So today let us go with one important tool and a very simple tool, that is JUnit 5. So it's a testing tool. So before we go to this JUnit, let us understand what is the meaning of unit testing. So the meaning of unit testing is like, unit testing is a type of software testing where individual units of a software are being tested here. So the meaning of individual units are like, when you create a class, we go with some set of methods. So that every method you can call it as an individual unit. So once you create a method, the method should perform as expected. Means when you call the method should give the expected result. So whatever the input we provide to the method, that should return the correct results to us. So whatever the output the method is returning to us, that we call it as the actual output. That we call it as what? Actual output. Then whatever you are expecting, that we call it as expected output. So here, the purpose of unit testing is like, is to validate that each unit of the software code performs as expected. Each code of your software performs as expected. Now, unit testing is done during the development phase of an application by the developers. Who should take care of this unit testing? By the developers only, and that is done during what phase? Development phase only. Once you create a class with some methods, so we have to check whether the method is performing as expected. So once the class is ready, then immediately we have to apply unit testing for your class. And for doing this unit testing, we make use of a framework called as JUnit framework. So what is this JUnit? JUnit is a free and open source unit testing framework for Java applications. And JUnit has been developed by Netback and Erichkama. And in this, we just make use of some annotations. Like JUnit 5 annotations are like @test. Above the method, if you mark it as @test, then that method will become a test case method. It will become what? A test case method. Then the methods which you mark it as @test, then that will be sent to your JUnit tool for testing. Then we are having @parameter as a test. So when you want to pass some parameters for your test case, then we make use of this @parameter as a test. Then @value source is used along with this parameter as a test. When you want to send some values to your arguments of your method, we send using value source and CSV source. And if you want to mark your test case to be disabled, @disabled. So these are the annotations we're having. Then we're having one more important concept here, like assertions, JUnit assertions. What are these assertions are like? JUnit assertions are used to validate the expected output with the actual output of a test case. So what is expected output? Once you write the code, we'll be expecting something from the method that we call expected. So if you are adding 10 and 5, what is your expected? 15. So from your method also we have to get the actual output as 15. Then we say the test case is passed. So by using these assertions, we are going to compare the expected output with your actual output. If both are same, that indicates our test case is pass. Then assertions are what? Static methods that we call in the test case methods to verify the expected behavior. And all these JUnit Jupyter assertions. So this JUnit 5, even we call it as Jupyter. JUnit 5 version is also known as what? Jupyter version, are present in the class org.junit.jupyter.assertions class. And the assertion methods are assert equals, assert not equals, assert true, assert false, assert null, and assert not null, and assert throws. And all these are static methods. All these are what here? Static methods. Now, let us understand this JUnit with the example application. So everything I've documented, just let me directly develop the application. Let me open Eclipse. I have taken a new workspace, JUnit. Let me close this. Now let us create a new Maven project. Let us go with a new Maven project. Say next. Then in catalog, select internal. In catalog, select internal. Then here in artifact ID, select Maven archetype quick start. Then say next. Group ID, I'm saying it as JUnit5. Artifact ID, JUnit5 project. Then package, com.service. Then click on finish. The project will get created. So everything I've documented over here. Then for this JUnit5, the minimum version what you require is 1.8. The minimum version what you require is what? 1.8. So whenever you create a Maven project, it goes with the default version 1.5. It will go with what? 1.5. Now I want to change the version to 1.8. How to change? See, right click on this JRE system library, go to build path, configure build path, and here select this JRE system library 1.5, edit. Then here in execution environment, choose 1.8, minimum 1.8. Okay, in execution environment, choose Java SC 1.8 and click on finish button. Apply and close. That's it. The project will get created here with the version 1.8. Now the next step is we need to add the dependencies. So we need to add what? JUnit dependencies. So here we are going to add 3 dependencies in pym.xml file. So open pym.xml file. Remove this previous JUnit dependency. It goes with the, whenever you create Maven project, it adds even JUnit dependency with version 3 here. But we want to go with latest version 5. So in between dependencies element, paste this code. So here we are adding 3 dependencies. One is JUnit Jupyter engine. See, I'm going with 5 version. The scope is test. So when this jar files need to be used, what are the libraries we are adding the jar files when they are used during test case time, during the test case. And we are adding one more, say JUnit Jupyter params. So whenever you want to go with parameters test, so whenever we want to use these annotations, @parameters test value source CSV source, then we require to add this JUnit Jupyter params. Then one more, JUnit platform runner. So these 3 dependencies we need to add in pym.xml file in order to use this JUnit5 version. Save this. Now the next step, let us create a class calculator in com.service package. In com.service package of src main Java, create a class calculator. So code is also given over here in the document. You can even find the codes also. Okay. Now, under src main Java, you can see the package com.service. Right click on this package and say new class. Just simple as usual code. Now let us go with the class name as calculator. Now here, let us go with the methods. Public integer, add integer n1 comma integer n2. We are passing 2 arguments and will return n1 plus n2. We are adding 2 numbers. Let us create one more method, public integer multiply, where it takes 2 arguments, integer n1 and integer n2. Here we return n1 into n2. So in this class calculator, we have created totally 2 methods. Now we want to write test case for this class. Means I want to check whether this add method and multiply method are working as expected. So how to create JUnit test cases? Understand carefully. This is the major step here. How to create a JUnit test case is, we have to right click on this calculator.java and say new other. Right click on calculator.java, new other, JUnit. You can find here under Java, new other Java, JUnit. It's not there. So under Java, you can see JUnit. Under JUnit, you can find JUnit test case. Right? JUnit test case. Select that and say next. Then say it is taking, see the Jupyter version, JUnit Jupyter version means JUnit 5 version. And here the source folder where JUnit test cases are created, see under src test Java folder. src main Java contains the source code files and the test case files are present under src test Java folder. And let me go with the package here, com.service.test. Going with the package name, com.service.test, and see the name of the class, what it is taking, see calculator test. The actual business class name is calculator, and for test case it is going to add test here. There. Now just to click on next here. Click on next. Here for which methods you want to add, write the test cases for these two methods, add and multiply. So make a check mark to these methods and say next, finish here. Click on finish. That's it. Your test case will be created. See under src test Java, under this package com.service.test, it has created your test case class. Right? See here. You can see in the document, right click on calculator Java, new other, under other Java again, under Java you can see JUnit test case. Right? Then go with the package name, give the class name as calculator test, it will come automatically. Click next and make check mark to add and multiply methods here. Now let us write the code under this test case. See here, it has automatically created, see the methods. The actual business methods are add and multiply. So when you come to test case methods, it will start with the word test add, test multiply. So the test case methods will start with the word test here. And above the method, we have to go with a annotation @test here. @test. Now write the code inside this test case. Create object of calculator class. Create object of which class? Because we want to call the actual methods add and multiply. So we have to create object of calculator class. ALC equal to new calculator. Now call your actual method integer actual result equal to, by using object of calculator, call the method add and pass the values 10, 5. Right? Then once we get the actual result, now we have to compare. So go with your integer expected result. What is our expected result? 10 plus 5, 15. Now we have to compare using a method assert equals expected result with our actual result. So if both are same, means our test case is pass. If our expected result and actual result are same, then our test case is pass here. Then similar way, go with the test multiply. Go with the test multiply. Here you call the method multiply. Then what is our expected now? 10 into 5, 50. And we compare our expected with actual. So this assert equals methods present in which package? See, they are present in org.jnit.jupyter.apa.assertions class. It's a class here. It's a class. And after class, we are saying dot star. But observe, it is import static, not import. It is import static. Understand here? Concept here? The concept name is static imports. What is the use of static import is, whenever we create a class, it goes with some static methods. If I want to access the static methods, we access static members directly with the class name. We know all these words. Now I want to access the static methods without using class name. Without using class name, I want to use the static members directly. I want to access that directly. Then we may go with the concept called as import static here. Concept name is static import. So when you say import static, when you refer to this class assertions and say star, I can able to access the static members directly without using the class name. That is the use of this import static here. Clear this concept, all of you? Right. Now, once we write the test case, now we have to run our test case. How to run? Right click on this program area and say run as JUnit test now. We have to say JUnit test. Then we have to get a green bar here. If you are getting a green bar, that indicates all our test cases are passed here. See how many runs it has done? 2 by 2 means 2 test cases. Are there any errors? No. Failures? No. And you can see if you expand this calculator test, it has executed 2 test cases, test add and test multiply, and both are success here. So small green color tick mark, if you see now, both the test cases are pass here. So finally we have to observe green bar. Then only all our test cases are pass. Now in this calculator.java, instead of multiply, I'll say divide here. So wrong logic. Now run your test case. Run your test case now. Right click and say run as JUnit test. Now see, we are getting a red bar. We are getting red bar. See, total runs are 2, but failures are 1. Under this test multiply, we are getting failure. See the failure message. So what is that failure message? Expected 50, but it was 2. We are expecting what? 50, but the actual result what you are getting what? 10 by 5 is 2. So if you are getting red bar means go to the respective method and based on the message you go to the code and modify the code. Right? So when our test cases are passed, when you are getting green bar, then all our test cases are passed. If you are getting red bar means if there are some failures in your test cases, then it's going to show red bar. So if it is showing red bar, until we rectify that code, we should not submit our code to our testing table. Okay, so this all testing need to be done by the developers only. The JUnit testing need to be done by the developers. It is not taken care by your testing team. Clear the use of JUnit tool? Any questions? Now the next one, everything I've documented with the code. The next one, parameterize the test using @value source. Now, for this one, let us create a class under com.service. We are creating a class palindrome check. Palindrome check. So here we are going with a method. So what is palindrome? If you reverse the given string and reverse string should be same, like medium, little, all these are palindromes. So we are going with a method is palindrome, which takes string as argument. Now what are the string you pass to this method? We should check whether it is palindrome or not. So first of all, what we need to do? We need to find the reverse of this given string. So take a string reverse equal to with an empty space. Now how to get the reverse? We have to take this string and reverse from last character like this. For int I equal to str.length, what str.length is going to give? The length of your string minus 1. So if you take the string as Madam, what is str.length will be 5. But the indexes will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the index starts from 4. That's the reason we take here minus 1. We start from the last character means minus 1. Then I greater than or equal to 0 means until you reach the 0 index, then I minus minus. Then find the reverts. Reverts equal to reverts plus str dot character rate I. So we are pulling out one character from last of your string and adding to your reverts. Once the for loop is completed, we get the reverts value. Now you compare here. If str, that is given string, dot equals reverts, if given string and reverts are same, then we are going to return true. Else return false. Else we return false. That's it. So this is the logic of checking whether the given string is palindrome or not. Now for this, we should write the test case method. How to write the test case? Right click on palindrome check and say new other under Java JUnit test case. Say next. Go with the package name com.service.test. And here the class name palindrome check test. Click on next button. Now for which method you want to write test case is palindrome. Make a check mark and say finish. That's it. Now come to this method. Now here we want to apply what? For this method, I want to go with parameterized test. So go with the annotation parameterized test. Go with the annotation @parameterized test. And to this method, we want to pass some arguments. Then here we go with the annotation @value source. Value source, and the source values are strings equal to. I'm passing the values like literal, Madam, then radar, race car. All these are palindromes. Right? These are the strings what I'm passing here. Now to this is palindrome method. Pass your argument, take the argument, go with the argument here, string str. Now during your test case, what it is going to do? To this str argument will be filled with these values. First it's going to check with literal, then Madam, radar, and race car. So when you want to test these methods with multiple arguments, multiple different arguments, then we make use of this parameters test with one more annotation @value source. Now in this method, test case method, create object of palindrome check equal to new palindrome check. Then here boolean actual equal to palindrome check object is palindrome. We are calling our actual method and passing our string. So this method is invoked how many times? In this case, 4 times. This method is tested for this 4 arguments. Then we get the actual result. Now you check whether it is true or not. So call the method as a true of actual. So if you are getting true here, that means all our test cases are pass here. Import the packages. Now run your test case. Right click and say run as JUnit test. So this test is going to perform how many runs totally? See 4 runs here. So for these 4 runs, it's going to include these arguments 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you want to test a method based on some argument values for multiple different type of arguments, then we use @parameters test, and how to pass that arguments by using value source. Now, if I go with one more string like Java, then since Java is not palindrome, then it's going to return false. So we are comparing assert true with false, then this test case will failure. Now see, when we run our test case, then we get see red bar, because for the fifth argument Java, it is not a palindrome, so it's going with red bar here, right? Now, the next one, parameters test using @CSV source. CSV stands for comma separated values. CSV means what here? Comma separated values. For this, let us go with the code. Under com.service, create a new class, even or odd. I'm creating a class even or odd. Now in this, go with a method public string even or odd, which takes even or odd number, which takes an integer argument. Now what are the argument you pass to this method? We have to check whether it is even or odd. If the number is even, we are going to return a string even, else we will return false. So to check for even or odd, if number mod 2 equal to 0, when you divide the number by 2, if the remainder is 0, then we are going to return the string even, else we are going to return the string odd. We are going to return the string odd here. So this is the logic of even or odd. Now I want to write the test case for this method, but I want to check for multiple arguments. Then right click and say, sorry, not here. Right click here even or odd and say new other JUnit test case. Go with the package com.service.test. The test class name is even or odd test. Click on next. Make a check mark to this method even or odd number and say finish. Now here we go with the parameters test. Here we go with the method annotation parameters test. Here I want to send the data for multiple comma separated values, so we use the annotation CSV source. So to this method, let us go with the two arguments, integer input, then string expected. If my input is even, the expected string should be even. If my input is odd number, then my expected should be odd number. So two arguments I'm taking. So comma separated values we have to use here. So how to use @CSV source, value equal to here. Here I'm going with the first one, 10 comma even. 10 comma even. So what will happen now? This 10 will come and store into input, even will come and store into expected. Then say comma. So again, next one, something like 15 comma odd. So 15 is also what? Odd number. Next, 20 comma even. 9 comma odd, like this, some values. So these are all what? Comma separated values. Closing curly brace. So this is one argument, this is second one, third one, and fourth one. So 4 CSV values. So 10 will come and store into input, even will come and store into expected, and we compare now. So in the method, you write create object of even or odd. You are creating object of your class. Say your string actual result equal to using the object even or odd, call the actual method and pass for input. So to this actual method, I am passing our input. Like example, this 10 will come and store into input. Even is what expected now. Then we are calling our actual method. So when you call this actual method with this input 10, what value it's going to return to us? Even. Then that even will come and store into this actual result. Now you compare here asset equals expected with actual result. Compare your expected with what? Actual result. That's it. Okay. So first it's going to test for this 10 and even. Next again it will go with one more test case 15 and odd. This next this test case, like that it continues. So this method is tested for 4 different type of arguments here. Run your test case, right click and say run as JUnit test. So we get see green bar and the test is happened for 4 runs here because we are passing 4 CSV values here. Now if you take one more like 12 comma odd, 12 comma odd, is 12 is odd? No. So this test case will fail here. Now see when we run, see the test case is failed. For the 5th one it is failing here. Okay. Now next one, asset throws. So I want to check once you create a method whether the method is throwing some exception. So I want to check whether the method is throwing some exception or not. For that we are going to make use of this assertion method asset throws. For that let us go with a class string convert. Under com.service package, create a class string convert. Let me just take the code directly. What you are doing in this string convert, you are going with a method convert to integer, and whatever the string argument you pass, I want to convert into integer. Then first of all, whatever the string we have taken, we have to check whether we can able to convert into string or not. How to check? If the given string is null or if the string goes with some spaces. So we are checking here str.trim.length equal to 0, means once you remove the white spaces using trim method, if the length of the string is 0, that means your string is having some spaces. So if the given string is null or going with some spaces, then we go with the exception, throw new illegal argument exception, given string should not be null or empty. I'm going with the message given string should not be null or empty. Then if it is a proper value, if the string is holding proper value, how to convert into integer? By using this integer dot value of str. By using this integer dot value of given str, we convert into integer. But if the string is going with null or spaces, we are going to throw what exception? A legal argument exception. Now create the test case for this class. Right click on string convert and say new other JUnit test case. Go with the package name com.service.test. Then the test class string convert test. Now click on next. Write the test case method for this string to convert to integer. Say finish. Now let me take the code here. Copy this code and paste it here. See what you are checking. See, just to convert to integer, I'm taking a string null. I'm taking what string here? Null. Now we are comparing asset throws illegal argument exception dot class. This is our expected. Now we are calling our actual method. How to call? String convert dot convert to integer. String convert dot convert to integer. So directly we are creating inner object and calling this. So we are directly calling the method. So using lambda expression, we are calling this string convert dot convert to integer method. Convert to integer method. Because I made it as static, we can call with the class name. So this will return the actual result. So what is our actual result here? Since the given string is null here, it's going to throw what exception? Illegal argument exception. So if the method is throwing this illegal argument exception, so my expected and actual are same, then my test case is pass here. So when to think of assert throws? When you call a method and I want to check whether the method is throwing some exception as expected, then we compare that using assert throws. Now run this code. JUnit test. Now see, we are getting the green bar, right? So it's a simple basic tool, JUnit tool. Please practice this. Please practice for one time, and once we enter into the projects, then just for every class what you create, whatever the method you create, you write the test case whether that method is performing as expected or not. So it will become like a routine work for you. Okay, it's not a complex part, it's very simple tool. Need to be taken care by the developers only, right? In tomorrow's class, we'll be going with a new topic, the last one of our course, and very important framework, that is Angular framework. That will start from tomorrow, which will totally take 3 classes for us to complete. Thank you all.